Week 17 of MLS marked the halfway point of the regular season, and we've action from all 10 games. The New York rivalry was back. NYCFC faced the Red Bulls, both with eyes on top spot in the Eastern Conference. Could Montreal Impact mount their own challenge? They welcome New England Revolution to Canada. And the Western Conference High Flyers hosted the MLS Cup champions. We're in Colorado as the Rapids met Portland Timbers.
We start at Yankee Stadium for the season's second instalment of New York City FC against New York Red Bulls. The last meeting was also in the Bronx, and arguably the worst day in NYCFC franchise history. A 7-0 humbling that began a run of 4 home games without victory. Frank Lampard made his first appearance of the season in that fixture, and the Englishman's featured in every MLS game since. He's also scored in his last 2 outings, both of which resulted in victories. The Red Bulls arrived in indifferent form. They'd earned just 1 point from their last 2 games, despite taking the lead in both. But Bradley Wright Phillips was again on the score sheet last time out, and he seems to love this fixture. Lampard's fellow countryman has scored in all 4 meetings between the teams, 6 times in all, as the Red Bulls have beaten NYCFC every time they've met.
It's a good team with a way. They have, Vieira's put in a way that they play, and they've stuck with it, and I appreciate that because we do the same. So again, it'll be a clash of styles a little bit, but more than anything, a measure of competitive will.
We join the action in the 7th minute.
Lampard did well there. McNamara. Super play from McNamara. Villa in the middle. Still McNamara. Robles with the save. Just delayed the pass. Whether he was caught in 2 minds, I'm not sure. But they cut them open. Corner for New York City. Pirlo with it. Rehearsed routine. Harrison. And it's in! The teenager's done it again! Jack Harrison straight through Luis Robles. And joy for the blue half of New York for once. They lead 1-0.
Goalkeeper completely deceived, should not be getting beaten at his near post, and he'll be really disappointed.
There's Chen. The strike from Mule. Comes to Corella. Wright Phillips. Corella. Conolar. Couldn't get the shot away. Lampard. And then struck by Villa. Oh, Lampard must have been tempted to have a crack himself, but good effort by Villa. Lampard. Good ball to Harrison. David Villa! Lift off for New York City on the counter. Lampard to Harrison. Harrison to Villa. 2-0 to the blue half of New York.
Villa not going to miss with his sort of quality, his technique. Sucker punch.
Here's Sam. Taken by Pirlo, and that's a foul by Chris Duval. Oh, it's a red card for Duval. Straight red with 11 minutes to go for that challenge on Pirlo. And the Red Bulls' task has just got a whole lot harder. Suddenly the game looks stretched for the first time. Villa skipping away from McCarthy. Matarrita in the middle. Still Villa. It's not the grandstand finish he was hoping for.
Next to Texas, where Houston, bottom of the Western Conference, met the leaders of the East, Philadelphia. But the Union soon discovered that this would be no walk in the park. Straight from the off, the Dynamo consistently pressured their goalmouth. Giles Barnes, the first of several players to be thwarted by Andre Blake. And the onslaught continued into the second half. Mauro Manotas biding his time before teeing up Boniek Garcia. Yet again, Blake to the rescue. for a Philly side who, despite their lofty position, had racked up just one win on the road all season. When Blake was finally beaten by David Horst's header, Fabinho's goal line block spared his blushes. Wade Barrett's wait for that first MLS win as interim coach seemed destined to continue, but after watching his side lose to a stoppage-time goal the week before, it was his turn to have the last laugh this time. Josh Yaro's tug on Manatas halted the Colombian's surge into the box, and the defender was shown a second yellow card. The Ghanaian dismissed for the first time since joining the league earlier this year, and by the time he returned to the dressing room, there was more bad news. From the resulting free kick, Christian Maidana delivered the knockout blow against his former club, who've now lost 2 on the bounce for the first time this season.
A meeting of two teams desperate for a win in Illinois as Chicago hosted San Jose. Almost half-time before the first decent chance. Quakes keeper David Bingham couldn't hold on, but Kennedy Igbo and Anike couldn't capitalise. The Nigerian striker continued to look like Chicago's best hope of securing just their 3rd victory of the season, form which has marooned them at the foot of the Eastern Conference. But he found Bingham in more convincing mood soon after the break. The men in red did eventually find a way through, thanks to a moment to remember for John Goosens. San Jose's attempt to deal with Rodrigo Ramos's cross suggested why they'd gone 5 games without a win. Make that 6 after the Dutch midfielder beat Bingham for his first MLS goal. A precious win, but the Fire still bottom.
After 5 defeats in 6, Seattle arrived in Toronto in desperate need of a lift, but their coach Sigi Schmidt was forced to admit afterwards they were second best throughout. Jay Chapman's gilt-edged miss let them off the hook midway through the first half. And whilst injuries are biting hard, TFC continued to overpower their opponents despite their makeshift lineup. Still, at least Sebastian Giovinco was fit, but amazingly he fluffed his lines after some neat build-up play. The Italian's now been stuck on 8 goals for 6 matches. Stefan Fry stopped him from ending the dry spell, but Jordan Hamilton was on hand to smash in the rebound to enhance his burgeoning reputation. Arguably Toronto's most exciting prospect for some time had them 1 up on the hour, but within a matter of seconds, a peach of a strike from the Sounders' very own homegrown star levelled the scores. Jordan Morris continues to be their shining light in an otherwise disappointing campaign. That was only their 14th goal of the season and first in a month, yet 3 minutes from the end they very nearly snatched a winner. Morris's cross caused mayhem in the box, and it needed Mark Bloom's intervention to ensure TFC a share of the points.
The Eastern Conference's other Canadian club were also at home as Montreal Impact welcomed New England Revolution to Stade Saputo. Montreal had drawn 6 of their last 8 games, but they had been buoyed by the return of Ignacio Piatti following hand surgery. The Argentine is the Impact's top scorer, his 9th strike of the season, coming in their draw with Sporting Kansas City last time out. New England, meanwhile, hadn't shared the points in 6 games and lost 2-0 to DC United in their previous MLS outing. Captain Lee Win would be crucial in the Revs' push for a playoff place. The US international was top of both the club's assists and goals tally ahead of this meeting.
They're a complete team, and we have to go in there with a good mindset, good game plan, good mentality. I think that's the key, is that we're going to be a team that's hard to beat.
We join the action early in the first half.
Harry Shipp waits over the corner. Beat the first man with it. His return to the starting lineup, and it comes again. It's a better ball this time. It's a good save. Salazar was trying to get on the end of the rebound. That would have been some start in his first ever MLS start, but it didn't quite come for him.
It gets whipped in. I think Saduro gets on the end of the ball. Look, good save.
Lee Win doing more than keeping the danger alive. Rowe takes over, Kamara's made the run, Kamara's in and scores! And the Revs in front, first MLS goal for New England Revolution for Kai Kamara. He was off the mark for his new club in the Cup in the week, and he scores against Montreal again. Tierney again, all their corners have come over on that far side as far as he's concerned. And again towards the near post, and Kamara, and all the way in for 2-0. Well, they just didn't deal with the corner at all this time, and Kai Kamara is certainly off and running
He gets away, not marked, free header. It's quite a soft goal to give away from me, from Montreal's perspective. 2-0 and 2 for Kamara.
Piatti. Longo's continued his run, taking on Farrell and getting the ball into the box as well to cause real panic. Salazar is there! Montreal are back in the game. Michael Salazar on his first ever MLS start with a crucial goal for Montreal Impact.
Well, what a mistake here. The defender just sends it up in the air, and Salazar gets a reward with a goal.
It's Alexander again to Bernier. Good ball down the line for Camara to cut it back.
Camara again, he's playing like a right winger. He does get in some great positions.
There he is once more, trying to deliver, and it comes for Michael Salazar! He's done it again! 2-2! And Salazar is rapidly becoming the story. Anything that Kai Kamara can do, Michael Salazar can match. We're all square in Montreal.
I've got to say, Salazar's finished it brilliantly. Give the keeper no chance. It's whipped in. Difficult one, takes it with his chest, right-footed, instant finish.
This time it's Piatti, and the goalkeeper's come a long way, had to get there, and I don't think he did. Well, what an incredible turnaround at the start of their second half.
What card?
It's just a yellow from Chris Penso for the goalkeeper. But the penalty is where the potential damage will be done. Salazar's on a hat-trick, but the young man is not going to get the chance to complete it because Piatti is the regular penalty taker. Here he goes then. It's Piatti who finds the corner and completes the turnaround. Double figures in front of goal for the season for Ignacio Piatti, and Montreal Impact are back from 2 behind to lead 3-2.
Still to come, Tim Howard's first MLS appearance in 13 years as he and Colorado Rapids face Portland Timbers.
To a Western Conference matchup between the Pacesetters and the MLS Cup champions as Colorado Rapids hosted Portland Timbers. Bottom of the standings last year, Colorado were 11 games unbeaten ahead of the Timbers' visit. And with the transfer window having opened on July the 4th, they could finally welcome Tim Howard to the starting lineup. The US national team and former Everton keeper signed the most lucrative contract in franchise history back in March.
Right now I'm just I'm hungry, I'm excited, I love to compete, I love to play, and it can't come soon enough.
The Timbers were also in good form, unbeaten in their previous 5 MLS fixtures. That included overturning a 2-goal deficit against Houston Dynamo last time out. Diego Valeri was the star man with an assist and 2 goals, but the Argentine missed this clash through injury. We join the action in the 17th minute.
Timbers in decent form of late, 5 games without defeat now. It's just Powell looking to make inroads. Pulling it back here for Mattox, thought about it, and still they'll have a go now. Well, Tim Howard not forced into a save on that occasion. But perhaps Mattox should have hit the target here. Has to go down as a good chance though. Very good half so far for Portland. They've looked pretty much in control. Now here is Ardi, and we know he can shift. And he's in the clear, it's Ardi! So unlucky. Tim Howard was well beaten. He is furious with his defenders. But grateful to the post for keeping his team in this contest. Very disciplined performance so far from Portland. An argument there between Zemansky and Williams as to whose throw it actually was. Here is Gashi, and Gleeson manages to tip it away to safety. The first time the keeper has been tested, and Milano can carry this forward now for Portland. What a terrific run this is, by the way. And a good ball in here to Mattox, surely. Oh, it's a tame effort. Howard called upon this time, but it's a routine save for the keeper. Mattox should have done better. Well, it appears as though this one will end goalless. Will extend both teams' unbeaten runs. Colorado would go 12 games unbeaten with a point here tonight. One last chance, perhaps, for Zemanski to pump this ball forward. Hardy's flick, and here is Grabavoy! What an effort! What an effort! Tim Howard can count himself very fortunate here. Would he have got there? Maybe. But the post to the rescue again.
We kept a clean sheet at home. You know, it was a bit of a labored performance, but give credit to Portland. They're a good team. They are the champions. They keep the ball. They put you on the back foot. So, listen, I thought it was an okay performance. Defensively, we got a clean sheet. So, from my end, yeah, of course, that's for me what's most important.
Orlando's away form hinted at a tough night against FC Dallas in Frisco, and so it proved. Just 11 minutes gone when Walker Zimmerman turned in Mauro Diaz's corner, and Adrian Heath's side were all set for a 6th straight unsuccessful road trip. Not long after, Maximiliano Urruti played in Michael Barrios, and Dallas's unbeaten home record was stretching to 15 games in the regular season. Diaz had set up both of their goals in the win over Real Salt Lake the week before, and the Argentine did most of the damage here too, doing a rather better job than the Orlando defence in spotting Matt Hedges. The visitors managed not a single shot on target and were only spared a heavier defeat by veteran keeper Joe Bendick, who was let down once again by his backline in stoppage time. Tesho Akindele donating Dallas's 30th goal of the season to Fabian Castillo. Their biggest win in more than 2 years.
A year ago, these interconference rivals served up one of the wildest games in MLS history as DC United won 6-4. Not quite the same level of drama this time, but still plenty of goalmouth action. The fingertips of Bill Hamid denying Luke Mulholland as Real Salt Lake bossed the match throughout. United's keeper has been inspired in recent weeks, but was powerless to prevent his team from going a goal down just shy of the hour. Barreto Martinez breezing past 2 defenders and then finishing brilliantly. Just the tonic, having lost to fellow High Flyers FC Dallas in their previous outing. Hamid may have been beaten once, but he was soon back to his best as the host threatened to stretch their lead even more. Olmes Garcia should have wrapped things up, but United's last line of defence was as sharp as ever to keep Ben Olsen's team in with a shout. Hamid's heroics would not be in vain. In stoppage time, Jared Jeffrey crashed in the equaliser, but the man down at the other end of the field deserves all of the credit for this result.
Vancouver Whitecaps, the visitors to StubHub Centre for LA Galaxy's latest attempt to end their longest winless streak for 4 years. A lack of firepower has been the issue, so Robbie Keane's return from Euro 2016 looked very timely. The last game in which the captain scored was also the last time Galaxy won in the league almost 2 months ago. But suddenly they were clicking again. Steven Gerrard almost matched Keane for quality, but David Ousted intervened. The Englishman had to settle for one more assist early in the second half that was ultimately decisive. His corner allowing Jeff Laurentowicz to cap another impressive display. His fellow midfielder caught the eye for rather different reasons. With Galaxy in complete control and with just 16 minutes to play, Nigel de Jong's lunge at Blas Perez was hard to believe and even harder to explain. A red card for the Dutchman put a dent in the home side's fragile confidence, and nailing a first win in 8 games suddenly became very hard work. Late on, Pedro Morales tested LA keeper Brian Rowe, but otherwise Vancouver lacked the firepower to make the most of their pressure. A problem the Galaxy will hope is finally behind them.
Sporting Kansas City and Columbus Crew began below the red line in their respective conferences, so this was a clash neither wanted to lose. And it was the team from the East who drew first blood. Harrison Arfel providing Ola Kamara with a chance he simply couldn't miss which raised Crew SC's hopes of bagging a first win on the road. But the home side have a player in their ranks who seems revitalised after playing for the USA at the Copa America. Graham Zusi set his sights from range and was desperately unlucky. Their opponents, meanwhile, sensed their luck might be in after a run of 3 games without a victory. Soon after, Kamara led a counter-attack, and after exchanging passes with Ethan Finlay, should have had his side cruising by the break. A costly miss, especially when just 4 minutes into the second half, Dom Dwyer was sent sprawling by Tyson Wall. Referee Ted Uncle reached straight for the red card, leaving Crew SC a man light with 40 minutes still to play. A moment that would prove pivotal in the final outcome. Benny Feilhaber swept home the spot kick with ease as Sporting Kansas City aimed to make the most of their numerical advantage. And it didn't take them long. Zusi's driving run and emphatic finish put them on course for a 4th straight game without defeat. The 29-year-old celebrating his first MLS goal since scoring against the same opponent in August last year. But Crew SC refused to go quietly. Tony Sharney's perfectly weighted through ball put Kamara in the clear. His 7th goal in his last 4 league starts, putting this pulsating contest back in the balance. In the circumstances, a draw would have felt just as good as a win, but there was a sting in the tail. In the first minute of stoppage time, Jimmy Medranda's cross picked out the unmarked Ike Parra, whose header across goal was gleefully put away by Matt Beasler to clinch the points in the game of Week 17.
In a weekend without an away victory, a hugely significant home success for NYCFC in the Big Apple, and a very welcome one for Chicago over San Jose. No team won more convincingly than FC Dallas, or more dramatically than Houston, with that injury-time goal against Philadelphia.
So Philadelphia's shock defeat in Houston means NYCFC are the new leaders in the East after their win over the New York Red Bulls. Toronto FC climb above the red line and are replaced in the bottom 4 by Orlando. Chicago Fire are still bottom, despite beating San Jose.
FC Dallas now head the West thanks to their big win, and Colorado's stalemate with Portland. LA Galaxy still with plenty to do to catch the top 2. Houston's 4th victory of the season isn't enough to take them off the bottom. They're still 1 win behind Seattle.
New York City FC have a midweek date at New England before travelling to Sporting Kansas City. Action from that game when we return. Leaders of the West, FC Dallas, are away to San Jose next, and the 2 Kamaras, Ola and Kai, come face-to-face as the Revs take on Crew SC.
So, a great week for the blue half of New York. NYCFC beating the Red Bulls for the first time and topping the Eastern Conference in the process. Dallas, meanwhile, dazzled on the 4th of July and now head both the Western Conference and Supporters' Shield standings. That's all from us for this week, but check out MLSsoccer.com for all the latest news and views. Until next time then, from Paul Walker and me, Tom Skippings, it's goodbye.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.